Hey guys, Carlos Colon here with Georgia Perimeter Homes, and today we're going to be talking about buying a house with a relative that's not a spouse. How do you do that? Why do people do that? And benefits, pros, cons. Anyway, that's what we'll be going into. But before we get started, if you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that every time we release a video with information about real estate, it comes straight to you on a weekly basis. So, let's get started. Alright guys, so you're thinking about buying a home or you're in the process of buying a home. But you hear these stories about people buying a home with relatives. To give you some examples, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, boyfriends, but they're not really a spouse. They're not married or anything like that. How does that work and why do people do that? So let's start with the why, okay? Because this is really important to go into to begin with. The main reason why people do this is because they may not be able to show either A, the best credit score on their personal credit score when they're buying a home, or B, and it could be a combination of A and B, which is going to be they may not show enough income to purchase the home they actually want to purchase, and so they're adding a secondary person to be able to help increase that income amount on that purchase. So that also means that that second person is held liable just like the first person is. There's two people on this loan, but you're able to show both sets of income combined. You're also showing both sets of debt combined. But when you do that, maybe the income is much higher than it would have been anyway, and so you're able to afford a nicer house. That's the main reason why people would do this. Now, in other situations, it might be that you want to secure it. Maybe you're getting a gift from a family member for $50,000 to help you purchase a home. And that person gifting it says, I'll do this as long as I'm a member on the deed or the loan in some way, shape, or form. That way I'm held responsible and I can follow this money through or get my money back in some way, shape, or form. There's all kinds of reasons why people do this. In most cases, it's related to either credit score or money, just in general. Now, that is the overall why. Now, here's what we have to look at. It is not, in my personal opinion, it's not smart to do this if you can avoid it. Here's why. Let's say that my brother and I bought a home together. Okay? 5 years from now, it's my home. My brother's living somewhere else and he's got a girlfriend and everything. I go to sell this home. The problem is I now cannot sell my home without my brother also signing off on it. So here's the thing. We might be in agreement today when we bought this home that, hey, it's my house. You're just helping me with this. But 5 years from now, let's say my brother's struggling financially and he says, hey, we need to sell this house. When you sell this, where are you going to send my half of the money? This happens all the time. You have got to be very careful on how you draw these boundaries. If you're going to do something like this, my recommendation is to have everything, number one, notarized, number two, what agreements you guys are entering into on this in writing, and always have it notarized with a witness to make sure that you're all on the same page when everything finalizes. And so you never know how life is going to swing or change along the years when you're going through with this. But the way I look at it is it's the same as a business transaction or a business venture. You need to make sure that you've protected yourself, and if this is going to be for your personal residence, make sure that you've done it in such a way where you've protected that asset. When it comes down the line, if you ever go to sell it or something should happen, God forbid that your brother file for bankruptcy. Does that affect you? I don't know. Talk to your accountant. These are the reasons why, a lot of this gets kind of convoluted. Now, there are also legitimate reasons why people do this that may not have to do with one or the other, but it's usually about money still because they want to afford a larger house, but maybe they're not married yet. So maybe your boyfriend, girlfriend, you've been dating for 3-4 years, but you're not married yet, okay? If you're engaged, you can still buy the home together, okay? You're then engaged, you're going to be married, when's the wedding date, and those kinds of things are important in this. But that kind of correlation is really important. Also, it's important to note that typically your mortgage company will ask for blood relatives in some way, shape, or form, like actual family in some way, shape, or form, not not like, hey, my best friend's going to go into this with me. That's not the same thing. In most cases, they don't allow that. And so you've got to make sure that you know how that works. And if you have any questions about this, definitely talk to your loan officer. They're the ones that can answer this best for your situation. Now, what else should I look out for if I'm thinking about doing this anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked, because let me tell you, one of the most important parts about this, let's say that you go into this hypothetical situation like we talked about, me and my brother. We go into the situation in this venture together. How we hold the title to the property is very different here, at least in my opinion it should be, as to how it relates to how it dissolves. Let me explain. Let's say that we both buy this property together, okay? I'm going to summarize it to two different ways that in Georgia we would hold title. Number one is going to be with rights of survivorship. Number two is going to be tenants in common. Okay, so with rights of survivorship is what you typically see from a husband and wife situation, where if one passes away, the rights of that person are automatically assumed and given to the living member. Okay, but maybe me and my brother, we have our own families, right? My brother and I. And so what's going to happen is I don't want my rights to go to my brother. That wouldn't make sense. I want my half of the property to go to my family. And so that means that we really need to hold this property, this title, as tenants in common, so that if I pass away, it's not my brother that gets my rights. He still has his half of the rights. My wife or my family gets my half of the rights, and that way my equity is not just lost randomly that way. So think about these things. So it's not just about how you purchase it and how you protect yourself through the purchase. It's also about, again, it's about the end game and what if this happens? What happens then? And think about these things as it relates to, what are your next steps? To give you another great example that I've seen before that is pretty common is a father and mother go to buy a house. They don't have enough income showing in order to be able to purchase the house that they want, but the son still lives with them, and the son might be 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, has a job, has great credit, doesn't have a whole lot of debt, so adding him to it really helps. Great. They added him on. Now we have 3 buyers on this application. They close on the home. Well, son now has a fiance and needs to buy his own home. Well, now we got to get son off of that mortgage for him to be able to show enough income without the debt to be able to buy that next home. And so now we have to refinance his home out of, removing his name from it. And so it creates a lot of complications along the way. So just understand that whatever you decide to do, if you go down this road, there will be effects down the line that you may need to think about today. And I'll change the word may to must think about today if you're going to be prepared to handle this in the future. So that's it. That's a quick summary of how that works. If you have any questions about this, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you, or most importantly, talk to your real estate agent or your accountant. They both help in this in a very big way. Our number is 770-314-1285, or check out our website for some great properties at GeorgiaPerimeterHomes.com. Thanks. Bye.